doing a very warm welcome to yet another interesting edition of the program CAC Weekly, a weekly program that keeps you abreast on the activities and achievement of the Corporate Affairs Commission. My name is Omohefe Peace Osemere. Coming up, we'll take a look at the difference between a small company and a one-man company, plus how to register a company seamlessly online. We'll be right back. Welcome back. Let's begin with business registration. Are you a business owner desirous of registering your company unaided? Please come with us as we show you how to do just that seamlessly online.
Company registration. To begin, reserve the company name that you intend to register and then proceed to click on Start Registration to begin. Step 1. Enter the details of the company. Click on Save and Continue. Step 2. Add the objects of the company. Click on Save and Continue. Step 3. Under Articles of Association, you can either create your own Articles of Association or simply adopt the default Articles of Association provided. You can also edit each part of the default Articles of Association to fit your company's purpose. Click on Save and Continue. Step 4. On the directors, enter the details of at least one director. If you want to hide your residential address from public record, click on the Hide Residential Address from Public Record toggle button. Click on Save and Continue. Step 5. Under Secretary, this requirement is optional for small companies and you may skip the step by clicking on the Click Here link button to proceed. However, if you wish to add a secretary, click on the Add Secretary button, enter the details of the secretary, and click on Save and Continue. Step 6. Under Statement of Issued Share Capital, add the share details and enter details of proprietor and click on Save and Continue. Note, you must allot the entire issued share capital. Step 7. On the persons with significant control, enter the particulars of the person with significant control of the company. Step 8. Under Statement of Compliance, if you are an applicant or an accredited agent other than a legal practitioner, fill in your details and click on Save and Continue, or you can skip this step. Under Document Upload, scan and upload all the documents labeled Yes under the If Required column, and where the documents labeled Optional applies to you, please scan and upload to avoid a query on your application. Click on Save and Continue to preview. Step 9. Preview your entries and if satisfied, click on the Proceed to Payment in order to make payment. Remember to remain on the remitter page after you have received a confirmation of payment. Step 11. After payment, you will be redirected to your dashboard where you will make payment for your stamp duty. After making payment, your application will enter the pending panel on your dashboard under registration. When your registration has been approved, your certificate will be automatically generated on your registered panel where you can download and print it.
Wow! What are you waiting for? Hurry now to pre.cac.gov.ng to register your company. We now shift gears and take a look at the difference between one-man company and a small company as provided by the Reenacted Companies and Allied Matters Act, CAMA 2020, alias the Game Changer. The one-man company or the one-person company, depending on your preference, is often defined as a company that has only one person as to its member. Furthermore, members of a company are nothing but subscribers to its memorandum of association or its shareholders. So, an OMC is effectively a company that has only one shareholder as its member. On the other hand, the Companies and Allied Matters Act, CAMA 2020, defines a small company as a private company having an annual turnover and net asset value of not more than 120 million naira and 60 million naira respectively. It has no foreigner as its member. CAC Weekly caught up with Justin Media Bureau Director Compliance, who tells us more on these two concepts. Enjoy watching.
Mr. We are testing the director compliance. Many thanks for joining us again on the program, sir.
Thank you for having me.
All right. And today we are discussing small company and one-man company. These have always been an issue. Is it the name that is confusing people or what?
Well,
Because people say one-man company is the same thing as a small company.
yes, maybe that's why a discussion of this nature is very important because we recognize that the idea of one-man company was one of the innovations of KAMA 2020. What we have noted over time that there is actually confusion, like you rightly say. People actually think that once you are a one-man company,
They automatically are a small company.
which is not the case.
But before we go further, let me jump in here. What is the basis for this confusion?
Well, the basis is usually that people assume that once you are a one-man company, your scale of operation necessarily should be small. So you should also be classified as a small company.
Isn't it the case?
Not really.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. So let's go to the differences. Before we come to the definition itself, let's go to the differences between a one-man company and a small company.
Well, the differences is usually better to approach it from the point of view of a definition.
Okay.
Yes, because once you define what a small company is, then you can situate it within the context of a one-man company.
Okay.
The differences will now come out clearly.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, so that's the one-man company.
One-man company
It's one-man company.
is what is technically considered as a single-member company.
Okay.
So instead of the previous requirement,
Medina and Co.
well, that's just a name.
Okay.
Medina and Co. But what it means is that when you talk of one-man company, there is only one member.
Okay.
If it is a company that has shares, it means only one person should have all the shares
Okay.
of the company.
Okay.
So that is technically what is meant by one-man company.
Okay. So I have like 10 shares.
Well, the minimum legal requirement is usually 100,000 for a private company.
Okay, 100,000. Yes. Okay, so I have 100,000. I'm good to go.
Yes.
Then I have my one-man company.
You have your own.
Just me and my company.
Yes. You will hold all the 100,000 shares.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Then the small company.
Well, the small company has a legal definition,
Okay.
and that is contained in section 394 of KAMA. What it specifically says is that a company, a small company, should first of all be a private company. Then, secondly, its turnover should not exceed 25 million naira. Then, its net asset also should not exceed 12.5 million naira.
Okay.
Then, other additional requirements are that one, there shouldn't be any alien participation in the company.
Okay.
Then a government also shouldn't be a member of that company. And lastly, it is also required that the directors between themselves should hold at least 51% of the shares of the company.
So how many people are we looking at that comprise of a small company?
Well, from the legal definition, what we could see is not restricted to the number of people that are.
Okay, so there can be many.
There can be many, but once these requirements that we have earlier listed are satisfied, then you could consider yourself as a small company.
So the scale of operation determines the difference there.
Yes, usually, because when you talk of net assets, when you talk of turnover, that has direct bearing on the scale of operation.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So now let's go to is it the similarities or the differences? Which one are we taking first?
Let's check the similarities or the differences first.
Okay.
What we will recognize clearly is that a one-man company would not necessarily be a small company.
Okay, a one-man company.
Yes.
Okay.
So that is very, very important.
Okay.
Because that's where usually most of the confusion arises.
Okay.
People think.
So what's the scale of operation of a one-man company?
That's why that's what we want to come to.
Yes.
That as one-man company, your scale of operation could exceed the turnover of 25 million.
Okay.
You could also have net assets that is more than 12.5 million.
So in essence, the one-man company is more than the small company. Yes.
In a sense,
as far as the scale of operation is concerned,
what we want people to understand
is that
is first of all that the fact that you are a one-man company does not automatically mean that you are a small company.
Okay.
So you could have a situation of one-man small company and one-man big company.
Okay.
That's what.
Okay, so we're starting with the one-man big company.
Yes.
Okay.
For the one-man big company, what it entails, from what we could see, is that first of all, if as a one-man company, your turnover exceeds 25 million,
okay,
then you are no longer a small company.
Okay.
If also your net assets exceed 12.5 million, then you are a one-man company, but you are not a small company.
Okay.
Then the other definition also, like if a government or a government corporation is a member or you hold all the shares in that one-man company, then it will not be regarded as a small company.
Okay.
The same thing also holds for where an alien holds all the shares of a company. That company, for purpose of the law, will not be considered as a small company.
Okay.
Then one other difference we also note is that because of the requirement that the directors should hold between themselves at least 51% shares of the company. What that means automatically is that it excludes the company limited by guarantee.
Okay.
So in all situations, a company limited by guarantee could not be considered as a small company.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, for it seems from the difference, the one-man big company.
Yeah.
The person in charge owns all the shares.
Yes.
That's what it means.
Yeah, that's what.
So even if the turnover is 25 million or 30 million or 40 million, he has no shareholders, he has nobody to account to.
Well, under what is called ease of doing business, the concept of one-man company was actually brought in as part of the reform.
Okay.
For ease of doing business. So where you think that you would properly manage your own company and you don't need assistance from
anybody. Okay.
Then you can register the one-man company.
Can I go up to having a billion turnover or billions as turnover? There's a cap?
No, there is no restriction.
Okay.
As to the number, the volume or value of assets that you will have as a one-man company. But there are additional requirements.
Okay.
When, for instance, a one-man company becomes a big company, then you are required, first of all, to appoint 2 directors, because those are some of the differences.
Okay.
As a one-man big company, you will be required to have 2 directors. Then you will also be required to have a company secretary.
Okay.
Then you will also be required to hold annual general meeting. So that one is flexible. But you will also be required to file annual return, audited financial statement. And what that means by implication also is that you should have an external auditor.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. So as you expand, the provisions come into place.
Yes, as you expand, it is expected that you should have some form of what is considered as corporate governance practices.
Okay.
So that's the reason why some of this requirement comes in for a one-man big company.
Okay, so let's go back to the one-man small company.
The one-man small company, like you said, shares the benefits of a small company.
Okay.
And part of the benefits is actually that one, they can file annual return without audited financial statement. Then they are also exempted from the requirement for appointment of company secretaries and auditors.
Okay, these are additional expenses.
Yeah, these are considered the additional expenses which ease of doing business
Has been
able to remove it from the neck of the small company.
Okay.
So also they are not required to hold annual general meeting.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So I went to the differences now.
The difference is that one, like we have earlier said, once you become a one-man big company, then you are required to up your game. And what that means is that you should also be required to bring in some requirements of good corporate governance practices. And that's why at that level, it is required that you should have a company secretary, you should have external auditors, then you should also have at least 2 directors.
So what kind of operations do one-man company undertake? What kind of business operations do they undertake? Is there a specific kind of business operation?
There is no restriction.
Okay.
Except where you could find there are other specific, what is called sector specific.
They can go into banking, oil and gas, they can do that.
Banking, where the idea of one-man company will not
Even oil and gas, it will not work.
Well, for banking, it is explicitly stated that in those sectors.
So what kind of business operations can they go for?
Well, there is no limit for now.
Also, it could be trade.
Except the one you mentioned.
Also, that's the only exemption.
Banking sector. And there could be others, like when you look at, like you said, oil and gas.
These are huge.
Which require huge investment and capital outlay. It's not advisable that. But for the common trading companies, like for instance, somebody wants to operate is it POS? Or you want to establish.
So POS is a one-man company.
You could operate POS. POS is a business.
Yeah, it is. It is a very big one now.
So that is what would easily come to mind. That if you want to operate the one-man company, you can register one-man company, get your POS from either the money market operators or from the regular bank. Okay. And then set up your umbrella and collect all your customers.
and business goes on.
Business goes on.
Okay. What about somebody who is setting up a bakery, a pure water company? Do they still fall into that category? A one-man company should be able to do that.
You'll be able to do that with one-man company.
Okay.
Bakery, pure water business, consumer shop, what is it? Maybe transport and logistics, and so many other ones.
Okay. Before we get to the so what are the advantages of a small company?
Well, a small company, like we said, has a lot of things that have been removed from its neck.
Small company, not one-man company.
Not one-man.
The small company itself.
The small company, you could also have one-man small company.
Okay.
So whether one-man small company.
Just small company. Okay.
The law has actually lifted quite a number of their burdens.
Okay.
To make things easier for them.
We did say one-man company is an innovation of the time at 2020. Yeah. Since inception, what is the response like? How many people have been able to take up, cash into this opportunity of one-man company or have been able to register? Do you have the statistic?
No, we don't have the statistics.
But is the response encouraging?
The response is encouraging. At least looking at the environment that we have.
Okay.
Yes.
What are the challenges that comes with it?
Well, the challenges are that, for instance, if the shareholder for one-man company, if the only single shareholder dies, what it means is that
business ends.
not necessarily ends, But at that moment, it is required that what is described as the legal representative steps into the shoes of the shareholder.
What if he doesn't have a legal representative? Because it's just a one-man company and it's a one-man soldier and that's all.
Ordinarily, by law, once a person dies, you should have a legal representative.
Okay.
Usually for those of them that have a will,
Okay.
an executor appointed under the will will be considered as the legal representative.
I'm talking about one man company who has a POS. The man drops dead. What happened? POS closes.
Well,
Is there any legal representative that will step in and operate POS?
well, if the legal representative thinks that he can run the business,
Okay.
he is allowed to either appoint himself
Or bring in somebody else.
or he could even sell
The POS and the umbrella
the company itself. You could sell it to another
person.
person because that's the advantage of what we consider as legal personality.
Okay.
Because it is assumed that the company will not die in as much as the shareholder dies.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Okay. So these are some of the challenges.
Yeah. The advantage rather.
No, I'm talking about the challenge. I mean,
the challenge
yeah.
is the possibility of death,
Okay.
actually, which you have already mentioned. That when somebody dies, it will require some steps and also time for the legal representative to actually sort out issues and decide as to whether he will register himself to replace the shareholder or he will sell the company as a going concern to another person, or he will bring another person entirely to run the business.
Okay, and you said the response is very encouraging from 2020 to
the
today.
one-man company, yes. Yes.
Okay. Okay. You don't have issues of dissolution, voluntary winding up, all those as well apply.
No, it applies. If for instance, the one man at a certain point thinks that he's no longer interested,
You can wind up.
he can wind up. If also after registration he has not commenced business, then he can do what is called voluntary striking off.
Okay.
Yes. So all other options that are available to the regular companies are also available to the one-man company.
Okay. Okay. And you did say recently issues understanding this small company and one-man company is a big issue. If you are going to make just one clarification so that these issues don't pop up, what is that clarification you want to make?
That singular clarification is for people to recognize that a one-man company is not synonymous with a small company. Like we previously said that you could have a one-man small company and a one-man big company, depending on whether other indices are met. So that's the central message we want to put up to the public, that people should be sensitive to this singular difference, that you could have a situation in which a small company would be considered as a big company.
All right. Mr. Mudia Justin Bear, always a pleasure talking to you.
Thank you.
Thanks for that informative segment, Mr. Justin. And now, this message for company owners.
Attention, business owners. Did you know that failing to file your annual return can put your company at risk? In Nigeria, the Company and Allied Matters Act 2020 requires all registered entities to submit their annual return to the Corporate Affairs Commission (CAC) or face serious consequences. The listing, striking off the CAC register, these are not just empty threats. They are real risks that can strip you of your business license, cutting off access to government activities, support, subventions, and crucial post-incorporation services. The law is clear. Annual returns are mandatory for the continued recognition of your business as a legal entity. Act now. Good news! Filing your annual return has never been easier. Introducing the CAC Online Portal, your convenient, efficient, and accessible solution to fulfill your annual return obligations. File your annual return online through the CAC Portal today. CAC, committed to prompt and efficient service.
And that does it for this week's edition of the program CAC Weekly. We do hope you enjoyed watching. For comments and inquiries, please take advantage of our social media handles and call center at X, formerly Twitter, at CAC Nigeria 1, on Instagram and Facebook at Corporate Affairs Commission. Send us an email at helpdesk@cac.gov.ng, and you can check us on our website at www.cac.gov.ng. And our call center number is 0708 0629 000. Do join us next week for another interesting edition of the program, same time, same station. From me, Omoife Piso Semere, and the whole team, it's bye for now.